Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. I'm so excited right now because I'm currently sitting in my new studio space. I also have blue eyes, which isn't normal. In case you're new here, I'm wearing color contacts right now. So there's a lot of changes here. I hope you guys can handle it. So today we are going to be doing a full face of ColourPop. I've been wanting to do something like this for a while. What really prompted me to do this video is that I got the new Pretty Fresh Hyaluronic Acid Tinted Moisturizer in the mail, and I've been dying to try this out. It really sounds like it's very much up my alley. You guys know I love a good hydrating tinted moisturizer, and I also have been wanting to put the new So Jaded Kathleen and ColourPop palette to the test. So we're going to be doing an eye look with this palette today. I don't have a complete full face. I think I'm missing concealer and brows, but 99% of what I'm going to be putting on is going to be ColourPop. So I really hope that you guys are going to find today's video helpful. I would love if you could let me know in the comments some of your favorite products from ColourPop, some of your least favorite products. Let me know all of your thoughts down below. What are you loving? What are you not so much? Of course, give this video a big thumbs up if you enjoyed it, and subscribe if you want to join the fam. So without further ado, I'm gonna zoom you guys in and let's get started. I really hope that these color contacts aren't too distracting for you guys. I know they're like maybe a little bit creepy, but I really wanted to have blue eyes for the day, okay? When do I ever get to play around with makeup with blue eyes? Never, because my eyes are brown. So I had these lying around for another video that I had planned, and I figured I might as well just pop them in. So I'm first gonna start off with my eyes. So let's talk about the So Jaded palette first. So I'm gonna be honest, when I first look at this palette, I felt a little bit overwhelmed because this is a pretty large palette. I believe it is actually the biggest palette that ColourPop has ever come out with. And there are a lot of different types of colors in here. There's blues, there's purples, there's greens, there's reds, yellows, browns. There's really like a little bit of everything. So when I personally look at this right away, I get a little bit overwhelmed because I'm just not really sure what colors I want to pair with what. But if you separate these colors into quads, it really makes setting up an actual eye look a lot easier. So for example, if you put these four colors together, they go together pretty perfectly. Even if you put these four together, they go together really perfectly. So if you have this palette at home and you're feeling a little bit overwhelmed by it and you're not really sure like what shadows to pair with one another, I feel like the best way to look at this is in that little quad formation, because I feel like it gives you a really good kind of layout of some colors that you could use together, and it works really well. So first things first, just to prep my lids, I'm gonna take my Anastasia eyeshadow primer, and I'm just going to apply this on my lids, obviously, just a very small amount. I'm gonna go into this shade over here called Royal Jewels, which is a nice like neutral transition shade. So I'm just blending that right above my crease with a fluffy brush. This is my Zoeva 228. And I'm putting that not just above my crease, but also on the outer corner of my eye, and I'm kind of like flicking it out on the outer corner. Okay, so now that I have that color laid down, I'm gonna go into the shade Jade, which is this really pretty army green, and I'm gonna take that on a smaller blending brush. This is my MAC 217S, and I'm going to start to blend this into my crease. I always find these types of colors to be a little bit more difficult to work with, especially like army greens. I find they get muddy really quickly, so this is gonna be a really good test for this palette. So I'm putting that above my crease and on my outer corner as well. It's actually applying really nicely. It has some good pigment to it. I'm gonna go in with kind of like a fluffy but angled brush. This is my Zoeva 235. And to kind of blend those two shades together, I'm going to go into the shade Geodude, which is probably the shade that I should have used originally as my transition, but I didn't. And just blend in between the green and the peach. So you can see that totally does the trick. And now it's actually starting to look blended. And the reason why I'm using a more precise blending brush like this is because I don't want to blow this out so much. I still want that peachy shade to be shown through, and I don't want to cover it up, so I'm trying to be precise. All right, so far so good. Everything is looking pretty blended. The mattes are going on really smoothly. Like I said, these types of green colors can sometimes be so difficult to work with. They can start to look so muddy, but it's staying really nice and true to color even as I'm blending it out. And I really do like the way it's applying and the way it's looking on the eye. So A++. I think for my lid shade today, I think I want to go into Topaz. This shade is so gorgeous. It's really the shade that caught my eye as soon as I opened up this palette. This one and Emerald are like tied for me. These are more of like the pressed glitter shade, so I think it applies best with the finger. This is what it looks like. Oh my God, it's very pretty. And I'm just going to press onto my lid. Wow, 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 wow. That is absolutely gorgeous. So these shades could definitely be used as like a topper, or you could use them on their own, like how I'm doing it. You could kind of like transform them depending on what eyeshadow you have underneath. Because you have these two topper shades, I almost feel like it doubles or quadruples the amount of eyeshadows that you have in here, because you could layer those two shades on top of any of these other colors and it's going to give you a different effect for every single one of the shades. You know what I mean? So I feel like it really is a very versatile and fun color to have in a palette. It's definitely a messy eyeshadow. Any glitter that you apply on your lid is gonna be messy, so I would just keep that in mind. This is definitely an eyeshadow that I would not apply once you already have your foundation down, because you're just going to create a huge mess. I would definitely do your eyes first if you plan on using these glittery shades, and then clean up using a makeup wipe. Now, if you want to be 1000% sure that you're not going to get any fallout if you use these eyeshadows, you could totally use something like a glitter glue or a glitter primer and you should be good to go. Okay, so I think I'm gonna add a really fun little pop of color for my liner. Even though I do already have some color going on, I wanna add even more. So I'm gonna take this burgundy liner from ColourPop in Joyride. What I really do like about ColourPop is that they do come out with some really fun shades, and because it is more of an affordable brand, you know, these are like $5, $6, you're not spending a lot of money on a color that maybe you won't be using as much. So if you want to experiment with some color that you know is not going to be like an everyday shade for you, you don't want to shell out a lot of dollars for it, these are great options. Okay, for my liner, I'm going to be taking my Smith 202, and I'm just going to build this up from the outer corner. It's not really gliding on actually as smoothly as I would like. I don't know if this is just because of the color that I'm using. Sometimes different colors perform differently. But I definitely had to finesse this a little bit. Like, it didn't glide on as easily as like the black one I know does. If you're a contact wearer, maybe avoid the glitter because I feel it stabbing my eyeballs right now. Probably adhering to my contact lens, and it's not comfortable. It hurts a lot actually. Okay, let's move on to the face. So like I said, we're going to be trying the new Pretty Fresh collection from ColourPop. I'm so excited about this because this really does sound like it's up my alley. I am somebody who is a drier skin type, in case you didn't know. I also really do love like a good tinted moisturizer. That's my foundation coverage of choice. And this product is pretty much just that. It is supposed to be a very hydrating tinted moisturizer, light coverage type of product. It is advertised to have hyaluronic acid in it, which, as we all probably know, is very good for dry skin because it locks in that moisture. So we have the foundation here. I also have the hydrating hyaluronic acid primer, which also sounds great, and then the hyaluronic acid setting mist. So this whole lineup is pretty much made for people with dry skin. It's for us, baby. So normally I don't like to use new primers with new foundations because I feel like sometimes it can be difficult to kind of distinguish what's what if I'm not liking something, if it's the primer or if it's the foundation. But normally with more hydrating primers, I don't really have any issues, so I'm okay with using this even though it is a new product. And I kind of want to just like feel out the texture of this. It smells pleasant. Feels very, very milky. It's a very thin consistency. It kind of reminds me of the Smashbox Primerizer. It's a very, very similar texture. And the Smashbox Primerizer is also a hyaluronic acid primer. So maybe it's a dupe, I don't know. Something like this, it feels great, it feels really nice. But for me, because this is just a simple moisturizing primer, I do like primers like these, but most of the time, if I'm gonna go for a primer like this, I might as well just go for a moisturizer. Just something to keep in mind. I don't think this is gonna be anything like mind-blowing. Okay, moving on to the actual foundation, which a lot of you guys are probably been waiting for. So very simply, it says that it is a hydrating tinted moisturizer that has a skin perfecting, lightweight coverage for fresh, healthy looking skin. There are 24 shades in the collection. Today I'm using the shade Light 6W, and I think to apply this today, I'm going to use a brush because for something really lightweight like this, I never like to use a sponge because it kind of just soaks it all up. So I'm taking it on my Morphe G40, my favorite little foundation brush, and I'm just gonna start to blend it in. It's actually maybe a little bit light for me. That has way more coverage than I expected because when I swatched this on my hand yesterday, when I was like looking, when I swatched this on my hand when I first received the product, I thought it would be way sheerer than it actually is, but it seemed to have covered up whatever redness I have on my cheeks and chin pretty quickly. As far as how it's looking on my skin, I'm not loving it. I feel like it's looking actually a little bit dry, especially in the drier spots of my face, like around my nose, my actual nose, and on my chin. It's just not sitting so nice. I don't know, I don't really love it, but then on the areas where my skin isn't quite as dry, like on my cheeks, it looks really nice and kind of glowy. So I'm just gonna kind of let it be. I gotta kind of let it mesh into my skin. You can barely usually tell what a foundation's gonna be like on the first 5 seconds of application, so we kind of gotta let it just rest for a sec. I'm gonna finish off the rest of my face and then we'll circle back and I'll give you guys my final thoughts on my first impressions on this product. So for my concealer, unfortunately, I don't know where my no filter concealer from ColourPop went because I had it in my collection. It's actually a really great concealer. I do like that one, but it's gone. I don't know where it is. So I have to use something else. I'm so sorry guys, but I will be using my NARS Soft Matte Concealer. Okay, so for my bronzer, I'm so sorry. I don't have a ColourPop bronzer, you guys. I totally thought that I did. I was like just searching through my collection for the last 15 minutes. I can't find the one that I thought I had, so I apologize for that. But I do have, you know, the rest of my cheek products are ColourPop, but I'm going to just use my Fenty bronzer in Into Sun just to warm up my face a little bit because I'm looking really, really pale from that mismatched foundation. So this is very much needed. And as you saw, I did not powder my face, so I'm interested to see also how all these products apply unpowdered. The foundation definitely does not feel sticky at all. When I touch my face, it feels like it's pretty much set down, but it doesn't feel drying. So now for blush, I actually have 3 here. I'm gonna try and use maybe all of them in today's blush look. Why not? So the Super Shock formula from ColourPop, which can be found in their cheek products as well as their eyeshadow products. Well, some of their eyeshadows, not all of them. Some are pressed, some are that Super Shock formula, are really, really unique. So when you press down on them, they almost feel kind of like a cream and powder hybrid. They're a little bit bouncy, is like the best way to describe it. The way that I normally like to apply ColourPop blushes is with the brush. I used to apply them with my fingers, but I do feel like I get more of an airbrushed, you know, flawless look with using a brush. So I have 3 shades here. This one is Underclassmen, which is a really pretty kind of bronzy shade. This one is She's in Bold, which is a really pretty dark coral. And then Thanks for the Misses. Oh, Thanks for the Memories. Okay, yeah, that's a Fall Out Boy reference. This is like a really pretty kind of like peachy pink. So I am gonna try to use all 3 shades today, like I said, because why not? So I'm gonna go in first with the bronzy shade. I was actually gonna use this as a bronzer because I thought it was bronzer, but then when I opened it, I was like, oh no, that's not gonna work as a bronzer. That's definitely a blush shade. So I'm gonna take it on a clean brush. This one's actually from Dior, it's just a random blush brush in number 16. And I swirl my brush into the product. And I'm going to apply this shade more towards my like cheekbone area. Ooh, that is a freaking gorgeous blush color. Whoa, that is really pretty. Oh my God, that color is stunning. So now that we have that down, I'm going to go into this shade called She's in Bold, which is like the brighter, deep coral. Same brush, just gonna pick up a little bit of this, swirling my brush in here. I changed my mind. This is gonna go in the apples of my cheeks. So what I'm going to do instead, I'm just gonna put that aside. I'm gonna use another blush brush and I'm gonna go into Thanks for the Memories, which is that like lighter peachy pink. This one is my MAC 129S. Pop this on the apples of my cheeks and blending it into the last shade that we just applied. This is gonna be the most extra blush look ever. I don't think I've ever used 3 blushes before. Now I'm gonna go into the brush that I already applied the color onto from the She's in Bold shade and just pop that right on the apples of my cheeks because it's a really bright color and I kind of just wanna add that pop right there. So for my highlighter, I'm gonna use kind of a classic highlighter from ColourPop for me. This is in the shade Electric Slide. It's one of my favorites. It's a really pretty soft gold. One of those golds that will really work with so many different skin tones. So just going to pop that right on the tops of my cheekbones and blend it in with a clean finger. I do have one of the cream stick highlighters that I want to show you guys because this is actually really, really pretty. This is the Star Bright Light Sticks highlighter. It's absolutely gorgeous. It's such a reflective color. This is really pretty even to layer on top of the highlighter that we already have. I'm almost just gonna put it kind of like right on the very top of my cheekbones because it's such an intense shade. I almost don't want it everywhere because it's pretty crazy and reflective. This is definitely a cream highlighter that isn't necessarily like a natural looking cream highlighter, you know? I'm also gonna put some of this kind of right onto my brow bone. Their creams are nice because they're actually not super creamy. They're a little bit on the stiffer side, which is good because they're not going to slip and slide all over the face. They kind of just stay in place. Now that we kind of have the face down, I'm gonna spritz my face with the Pretty Fresh Hyaluronic Acid Setting Mist. Ooh. Okay, smells like coconuts, which is really nice. Has a nice fine mist, which is always appreciated. But it's also leaking on my head, which is a bit of a problem. It's like a super fine mist, but it's also leaking. So I don't know if that's just my bottle, but just telling you what's going on as it's happening. I'm going to go into the shade Garnet, which is a perfect like purpley red burgundy shade. I'm just gonna smoke that on my lower lash line. Ooh, that matches that eyeliner really nicely. And it makes my blue eyes pop. So to line my waterline, I'm gonna take the ColourPop Cream Gel Liner in Joyride. It's actually the same color as the gel that we use, so it's gonna complement it. Well, it's not even gonna complement it, it's literally the same thing, so it's gonna work perfectly. I'm gonna line my waterline. I'm also gonna put a little bit of this right up against my lash line so that the color that we just applied, Garnet, has something to kind of blend into, and there's some depth there. I do like the cream gel eyeliners. I don't find them to be the most long wearing pencils out there, but they are very creamy and they glide on nicely. I don't love them honestly in the waterline because like I said, they're not super long wearing, so I find that they do bleed, but I do like them on the actual skin. I feel like they last well. So either applied like kind of on the lash line or on the upper lash line, I feel like it works well, but they're not the most long wearing inner rim liner. That is very pretty. Oh my God. Look at my blue eyes, they're really popping. Kind of just show you guys the difference between adding that and then not having that there. It just added so much more depth to the look by adding that darker shade right at that lash line. Makes such a big difference. So now that we have that done, I'm gonna go off camera, I'm gonna apply my mascara, I'm gonna do my brows, and then I'll be back to do the lips. Okay, now that the mascara is on, the eyes are done, and I gotta say, this is probably my favorite eye look I think I've ever done. I'm going to line my lips first with a lip liner, and I think today I'm going to use the ColourPop Lippy Pencil in the shade Curvy. It's called Curvy with two eyes. It's a really pretty kind of like beigey pink. Again, I really do like the ColourPop lip pencils. They're very creamy. They glide on the lips so nicely. I also do really like the ColourPop lip crayons. So this is pretty much like a tinted lip balm type of product. It gives a little bit of a tint, a little bit of a shine. It's a really easy, comfortable, perfect type of lip product to wear. I really like it a lot. Oh, sorry, this is the shade City of Stars. This is actually a very, very pretty lip combo. Although I feel like it doesn't totally work with the eyes. I feel like it's a little bit too red and it's clashing a little bit. Even though I really do like this, I'm gonna wipe it off and I'm going to just apply one of the glosses instead. I'm actually gonna take the shade BFF3, which is almost like a contour shade. It's almost similar to like my Makeup Forever Anywhere Caffeine. It's that similar kind of like brownish taupe that works really well in making your lips look bigger because it literally looks like a contour shade. You know what? It actually is really similar to that, especially if you blend it out with your finger. It kind of just looks like a shadow. It doesn't even look like you're really wearing lip liner, which I really love. So this is a great dupe-ish of that Makeup Forever Anywhere Caffeine lip liner that I always talk about. Okay, for the gloss, I think I'm going to try the shade Attention Haul, which is such a pretty light beigey pinky nude. The glosses have some nice pigment to them as well. They're not like sheer. They're not overly pigmented that they're like gloppy, you know? Kind of just like simple, pretty basic, good glosses. This is such a good neutral lip combo. I really, really like this. Okay, let's take out my little hair clips. I gotta say, I am absolutely in love with this look. It's probably one of my favorite looks I've ever done. I love the eyes so much. I don't know if it's just because my eyes are blue. And this lip, like, oh my God, I need to put this lip combo in my everyday vanity so I can wear it more often because it's so, so perfect. Now, kind of just circling back to the foundation, I'm really on the fence about it, guys. When I look at my skin, it actually looks really pretty from afar, but once I look up close, you can really see how the foundation is kind of settling onto my skin. It's kind of cracking around my chin, around my nose, around my cheeks. Like, it's just not looking so hot. I think this is a product that definitely has potential, but it's definitely not one that, you know, I'm trying on the first time and I'm absolutely in love with. I feel like I need to kind of work with it a little bit. I'm still gonna try it over the next few weeks, and I'll probably give you guys my thoughts near the end of the month. But I would love to hear your thoughts on this foundation if you have tried it. What do you think? What's your skin type also? I really love to get your feedback down below. That pretty much completes my review and tutorial using some of the new ColourPop products. Again, I would love to hear all your thoughts in the comments. Have you tried any of these products? What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on the look that I created? Just sound off down there. Of course, give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe if you want to join the fam, and hit the bell if you want to, you know, hear from me every time I upload a new video. All right, that's it. Blue-eyed Jamie out.